Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome to this episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, especially welcome to my movie maniacs, yes, and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. You know who you are. And as always, I'm your humble host, Van Eberts. Yes, I will be your Sherpa, your guide, as we go through this Dr. Sleep edition of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, yes, the show where you can get into in-depth discussions about movies you love, movies you hate, movies you're indifferent to, whatever, okay? And this is one of those rare shows where you can get in depth. You can get to the nitty-gritty of the movies, the details, get all granular. And so typically the episode would be live, okay, where you could live chat with me. But this is a pre-recorded edition of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, since I have to travel and can't do a live one this week. But I didn't want you guys to go empty-handed, all right? I didn't want to leave your pantry bare. There we go. So I didn't want you to open up that pantry door and go, I can't wait to eat. Oh, we're not in here. Nope, I didn't want to be that guy. I wanted to hook you guys up. So I just wanted to go over a little bit, my detailed thoughts about Dr. Sleep, okay? And then now you don't get the live chat with me this week, but you can always get in the comments down below, okay? And then let me know what you thought of this episode and my thoughts about Dr. Sleep and all that good jazz, you bet. So, all right. Well, you know what? Before we get too far into this thing, again, as always, let me give you something to dance to.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Absolutely. So, and this, I should mention that this is the latest edition in our Whorehouse series, or our Whorehouse series here on Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, and as part of the entire Movies Merica universe, okay? So I guess the MMU, I guess is what we'd call that, because it's Halloween month as of when I'm recording this. It's Halloween, October 2023, and I like to review as many scary horror movies as possible during the month of October, okay? So I like to go all keep.
Hello, kitties. Welcome to this edition of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. I hope you're being good girls and girls and girls.
I don't know what those words are, but hey, but that spares you from having to hear any more of my bad impression of the Crypt Keeper, okay? Okay, so let's get right into Dr. Sleep, okay? Let's get right into it. Let's get right into the meat of it. And first thing right off the bat, if you listen to my or watch my spoiler-free review of Dr. Sleep, I love this movie. I didn't expect to, okay? The Shining is such a legendary movie, and I thought that any sequel to it was going to pale in comparison. It was just going to be a sorry follow-up to the epic thing, the epic, event that is The Shining. Now, of course, the critics and Stephen King hated it, and like 8 people went to go see it in the theaters back in 1980 when it originally came out. But now The Shining is like this beloved, just institution, cinematic institution. I mean, it's considered to be one of cinema's greatest achievements, even though it was not perceived that way back in 1980. But now here we are. I mean, this guy Mike Flanagan, this director Mike Flanagan, and others decide, oh, we're going to come out with some sequel to this legendary scary movie, The Shining. We're going to call it Dr. Sleep. And I didn't have high hopes for this. I mean, I knew Stephen King had written a book called Dr. Sleep that this movie is based off of. But yeah, I was like, oh man, I want to be so wrong about this movie, but I think it's gonna suck. But I'll be pleasantly surprised if it's good. And I'm here to tell you officially, I was pleasantly surprised with Dr. Sleep. It's something completely different as far as just the look and editing of the movie. It's not trying to be Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. It looks more contemporary and more conventional than The Shining, because that's one thing that you recognize right off the bat with The Shining, with Stanley Kubrick's beloved use of wide angles and that kind of thing, and just his Kubrick isms that he has, and like the wide angles, the different camera angles, the quick cuts, the use of music, and Mike Flanagan, the director of Dr. Sleep, is not trying to be Stanley Kubrick at all. I mean, let me back that up. He tries to mimic some of the things he does, but very subtly and in low numbers. Okay, he tries to mimic him a little bit in the gold room scene towards the end of Dr. Sleep, when Dan is in there and he's talking to Lloyd. Okay, and so he just kind of try to mimic some of his camera angles in that. But yeah, Mike Flanagan's not trying to be Mike Kubrick, okay, in this. But this Dr. Sleep is still a great movie. It still held my attention. I was still captivated. And one thing I liked about it is it does really have that New England earthy 90s Stephen King book movie adaptation feel to it, almost as if it could have been directed by Frank Darabont instead of Mike Flanagan. Frank Darabont, of course, directed The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile. So I like it because it gives me that warm feeling in my cockles, that warm nostalgic feeling from the 90s, because it does have that feel about it. And that I'm a fan. I'm a fan if it feels that way. That's awesome. Now, one thing that I also noticed is that, in Dr. Sleep, we have bad things, very, very, very bad things happen to kids. And that comes straight from Stephen King's books. And apparently Stephen King likes to write stories about bad things happening to kids there. And yeah, it's something that will make people. Yeah, but it works in this story. I mean, it's not gratuitous in the sense that they just plopped it into this movie for no damn reason. And it's an integral part of the story, from getting it from point A to point Z. Okay, there's several points in between there, and the bad things happening to kids are integral to the plot and trekking the journey, so to speak, with that. But yeah, so overall, this movie is fantastic. And I mentioned already the Gold Room bar scene where Dan meets with Lloyd, who turns out to be, his dad, okay, Jack Torrance. And I really liked a video that I saw of Ewan McGregor's and Mike Flanagan's take on this scene. So I'm going to show you that here real quick. And yeah, we'll split it up here a little bit.
Now, one of the many scenes that I really wanted to talk to you about was the bar scene. I mean, there's so many things I was struck by in that scene, the return of Jack, and also how it was almost all shot in profile shots. So I'm just curious, what was it like approaching that and working opposite Henry Thomas?
It was lovely to work with Henry. I really liked him, and we had this very emotional scene to play. It struck me as while we were.
And I got to say, since we have Ewan McGregor up here on the screen, I just wanted to take this chance to comment that I love a lot of the movies that he's in and just how he plays a lot of the characters. one role of his that always comes to mind to me is when he played Grimes in Black Hawk Down. Yeah, he was the soldier that was kind of stuck behind the desk, getting coffee for everybody, and he's out there in the shit in the middle of Mogadishu, and he's explaining to these these meat chompers that are always out there in the fights, about the perfect cup of coffee to make, even out in the field. And he's got his coffee grinder out there, and he's making sure to get the grind, not too coarse, not too fine. It just explaining, okay, the secret to a good cup of coffee while you're in combat, okay? And then he was also good. He was in that series, or that season of Fargo. He was fantastic in that. Obviously, a lot of people know him as Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I didn't really think he was really, I don't know, anything of note in that role. But Black Hawk Down, though, I always liked him in that role.
I didn't anticipate feeling so emotional playing that scene, because I read it much more angrily. I felt like it was, he's faced with his father again, and he's able to. He wants some answers. He wants his father's love, and his father, and he's looking for it, and he's crushed to be being further hurt by him again. It was almost, it surprised me how upsetting it was to play, funnily enough. And it was just.
You probably, like me, can't help but notice how much he basically touches his nose and his ears and whatnot. So if I was the interviewer from Collider in this, I'm really hoping he doesn't reach out his hands for a handshake at the end, because I know I'm not offering mine, seeing all that nose digging and ear digging. Okay. These are the kind of things I notice. I know. Stupid.
Wonderful to play with him, because it was a very long scene, and we walked on set, and there's always a heightened energy when you've got a very long dialogue scene like that, because you sit down and it's like 4 or 5 minutes of. We played it from start to finish. We didn't break it up. And it's lovely, because it's a bit like theatre. You just, you find you're not anticipating anything. You're just in the moment with it. And it was lovely to play with him. It was just lovely to hang out with between takes and talk to. And we again had things in common. And it was lovely to work with him.
I knew that would be the most controversial scene of the film, like guaranteed. And there were parts of it I wanted to use exactly the same framing, that Kubrick used. I wanted it to be that familiar, down to Ewan. When he sits at the bar and finally makes eye contact with the bartender, he looks right down the barrel, the same way that Jack did, before we reveal the bartender. But after the scene had started, I very intentionally did not want to live in Kubrick's angles. And one of the things that was really a revelation for me was how living in a true profile, even being out of their eye lines so much, made that scene feel so intimate and uncanny to me. It's one of the few times that I was trying very hard not to homage Kubrick's coverage.
I like Mike Flanagan here because he not only directs Dr. Sleep, but he also made the Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, or the Haunted House on Hill House, or something like that. Look it up on Netflix, or if you just IMDb Mike Flanagan. Apparently I like the show on Netflix so much I can't even remember the name of it. So, but there's so many like movie titles that have that variation, like the House on Haunted Hill, or the Haunted House on Hill House on the hellscape of Hill House on the Hill. So much confusion. And then also he did a great series. I think it's on Netflix as well, called Midnight Mass, and you should definitely check that one out. Mike Flanagan is a master writer, and that Midnight Mass show is one you should check out as well. And if you've seen it, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it in the old comments down below. So Midnight Mass.
And I love the bizarre feeling that it gave me. And only kind of coming frontal to Ewan in pockets, and only coming around on Lloyd, one time at the very end. It just felt like the right balance. But it was one of the hardest scenes to crack in editorial. It was one of the ones I agonized over, kind of frame by frame. There have maybe been 200 versions of that scene.
I haven't seen how they've because I saw the film before it was locked, so I haven't seen how it's ended up. It wasn't all in profile when I saw it, so it'll be interesting to see.
The cut to the reveal of him, full on, perfectly timed.
Right. The shots were matched from
Yeah.
the scene with Jack in the original film. I mean, they did the same lenses, the same angles. The bottles behind him are the same bottles in the same order. It's not just random. Everything is absolutely precise.
So yeah, I thought that was fantastic, and I just like the insight from Ewan McGregor and Mike Flanagan about that scene. And another movie actually just came to mind that I like Ewan McGregor in is The Impossible, and that's a movie probably a lot of you that are watching or listening haven't seen before. The Impossible. The title, I could see how it could keep some people away. Like, The Impossible, what is that? All right, especially since it doesn't say Marvel's The Impossible or DC's The Impossible, right? So, but check it out. It's all about a family trying to survive that tsunami back in the Indian Ocean. I think in 2004, I think is when that was. And it's basically based on that real life event where a lot of people got killed. And Ewan McGregor and Naomi Watts are in there, and then a very young Tom Holland, way before he was Spider-Man, plays one of their kids. So, but The Impossible, check it out. Okay, but yeah, a lot of great things that I like about Dr. Sleep, and I like the fact that they used Henry Thomas to play his dad, Jack Torrance. Playing the Jack Torrance / Lloyd, the bartender, in the gold room in that scene that they were just talking about there. And I can't help it, but every single time I see Henry Thomas, I just keep seeing Elliot from E.T. That's all these years later, I still see Henry Thomas. He's his late 40s, 50s or something like that now, and I still hear him,
I'll be right here.
That's so sad. All right. Hey, let's break it up a little bit here, and I'll tell you all about something here that I want you guys to go check out, and that is tdpn.locals.com. That is our website for the Till Death Podcast Network, and that's where you can check out all kinds of great videos and articles and blogs all about movies and entertainment, I'll give you an opportunity to guess who writes the movies and entertainment articles, but you're only going to need one guess. All right, there you go. And also we have articles about politics and hot button issues, sizzling hot topics, and cocktail recipes. I got music articles and blogs and whatnot on there. So just stuff that's really going to captivate you, going to grab your attention and not let go. Okay, so, and in order to see that, you have to go to tdpn.locals.com. And right now, as you see down below, if you put in promo code TDPN, you're going to get 1 month free of tdpn.locals.com premium access. Premium, okay? All right, you're going to be one of the VIPs. You're going to be up in the champagne balcony. You're going to be getting bottle service for free. All right, because you put in promo code TDPN. All right, so yeah, hey, don't hesitate. Don't think about it. Don't analyze it. Don't no paralysis by analysis. Just get there. Do it. All right. So, yeah, and also I really liked Rebecca Ferguson in this movie. Just to kind of go to another point about what I liked about Dr. Sleep. I like Rebecca Ferguson's character in this because I think what helped is I'm so used to seeing her play Ilsa Faust in the Mission Impossible movies, where she's like a goody two shoes, right? She's just always helping out Ethan Hunt and the Mission Impossible team. She's basically a good guy, okay, in that. And then in this movie, she gets to flex her acting chops and play someone who's just outright nasty. All right, nasty, just evil, malevolent, murderous, and when she murders, you could tell she takes glee. I mean, she's gleeful about it. She takes great personal pleasure and pride in it, and that's because when they kill, they're killing so that they can get what they call steam, right? That feeling of fear and pain from children that have great levels of the shine, what they call it, right? So, and that's what I gathered is that they can't just they can't just kill any random kid, right? It has to be a kid that has has a lot of shine in them, and then when they kill them, and they kill them brutally, painfully, because that's how you get the most steam, right? You're trying to invoke the most fear from invoking, or for applying the most pain, I guess what I'm trying to say. Excuse me. And so it's a bad way to go. I mean, and especially if you're a kid, right? And it's just kind of a messed up part of the story. I mean, it is what it is, but the scene with the baseball player, and that is just it's heart wrenching, especially when he's like, "Are you going to hurt me?" And she's like, "Oh yes, we are going to." Pain is what releases the most steam, or something like that. And I'm sure at that point the kid has no idea like what the hell she's talking about with the steam, but he just knows like, God, I'm like, I picked the wrong van to get into, and yeah, it's this movie doesn't hold back in that, and that's just one way to show you how evil Rebecca Ferguson is, and how much she differs from her character there in the Mission Impossible movies. And so let's break it up here again a little bit here, because I'm getting kind of thirsty, and let's do a little brew review time. What do you say, guys? All right, let's get this beer review time going here. And right here, what we got is a little Warsteiner German Pilsner, yeah, from the motherland, yes. And this is from a little town called Warstein, and it's the middle of I believe the Warsburg, or the Arnsberg forest in Germany, okay? And it's been there like you would imagine a German brewery has been. It's been there for a long, long, long time, okay? And it's like 4.8% alcohol by volume, so it's not gonna really make that big of a kick. But you don't drink pilsners, or you don't drink one pilsner to get hammered. Okay, you drink a whole bunch of them if you're actually trying to get hammered off of beer. Okay, yeah, it's got just this good barley malt in it, and it's got like this bottom fermentation yeast process that they use, and it's got a slight bitterness from the hops in it. And be perfectly honest with you, the impact of the taste from this particular beer is meh, a little meh for my taste. And I just don't like the way that the aftertaste hits for me personally, okay? So not a fan. And as you're hearing right now, not every brew that I review is going to be a winner in my book, in my humble opinion. But typically you would think like with the German beer, you're not going to go wrong. But obviously, we're seeing example, numero uno, that is not the case. Now you might love it, but me, I'm just not a fan. But hey, even though I'm not a fan, hey, I don't waste beer. Okay, we don't waste beer in this house, there, children. All right. So to that point. Let me a little drinky. Yeah, just doesn't have that like that that impact when you're drinking it. Okay, and then that aftertaste, yeah, it's just not working for me at all. And it's not like I made sure I didn't eat jelly donuts or something like that before I drank that beer. Okay, and I'm not chewing gum. Like on Sideways, but that's a wine movie, not a beer movie. But yeah, I mean, if you don't want to take my word for it, you want to check out yourself some Warsteiner German Pilsner. It's probably not going to be the easiest beer to find. If you live in some one stoplight town, you're definitely not going to be able to find it. And even if you live in Des Moines, Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, you'll probably find it. But if you can't find it anywhere, if you've been hunting high and low, to and fro in your town, and you can't find it, you can go to like gopuff.com or drizzly.com. And I'm not getting any money from those websites or any brewery that I do brew reviews, here. So you're getting completely objective brew reviews here at Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, okay. And I also do brew reviews on my spoiler-free movie reviews as well. Okay. Hey, you know what? I think it's time to put a lid on this brew review time. All right. And before I forget, hey, follow and subscribe to this channel down there. Get down there. Okay. It's right down there. Takes you 1 second to follow or subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed or following it. And then also hit that like button down there. The like button. Hit the like button. Okay. Usually it's a thumbs up, right? So yeah, thumbs up. No thumbs down. Thumbs up. Okay. So there we go. And that takes 1 second to do it. Okay. So that would be, you'd be doing me a solid. Okay. And then also, hey, hit the notification bell down there as well. So you get notified whenever there's a brand new episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, just for you. Exactly. There you go. See? And Warsteiner, it's making me burp, everybody. I know it's not very classy, not very dignified at all. And that's what I go for with Movies Merica. Spoiler warning is I go for the ultimate level of class, dignity, and decorum. Yes. All right. Oh, and then also, hey, you know what? If you don't want this movie spoiled, but you still want to help me out, feel free to watch this recording. But you can have this the volume down, or just have it play on one of your tabs on your computer or your laptop or your phone or whatever, and you don't even have to have the volume on. But it just helps me with the watch minutes. Okay, that's fantastic. And then if you get in the comments down below, if you comment, just put a thumbs up in the comments, or just say hi, in the comments. That's fine. You don't have to write the Gettysburg Address, and that helps as well. So absolutely, I appreciate that. So, another thing that I liked about this is, of course, Ewan McGregor, and I mentioned this movie before, The Impossible. I thought that this is his best role. He's his best performance since The Impossible. Now I think The Impossible is better than this, but he had more acting armament to work with in that movie. And what I mean by that is he's a dad trying to keep his little boys safe as they're trying to survive the aftermath of this killer tsunami. Okay. And so he's trying to keep his little boys safe. His two little boys, but then he's still got another little boy played by Tom Holland that's missing somewhere. He has no idea where he's at. And then his wife, he doesn't know where his wife is at. So, and he doesn't know that his son Tom Holland, and his wife are together. He has no idea that they're together. So The Impossible kind of takes place, kind of cuts between Ewan McGregor and their two littlest boys, and then Naomi Watts and their oldest boy, and all trying to survive. And Ewan McGregor is just got this scenario in this movie just gives him so many opportunities to emote and act and whatnot. And your heart breaks for him and the rest of the family. So The Impossible, definitely check it out. It came out 10, 11, 12 years ago, something like that. But yeah. But yeah, I think Ewan McGregor in Dr. Sleep does a phenomenal job at really portraying that character arc, where we first meet Dan Torrance. He's not Danny anymore. He's not a little kid. He's Dan Torrance as an adult, and he's just at the bottom, right? Okay, he's living a Hunter Biden life. Okay, he's just at the rock bottom. Well, I guess Hunter Biden's not a rock bottom because he has daddy to buy him his crack and to enable all of his scummy, skeezy habits and whatnot. So Dan Torrance in this movie, Ewan McGregor definitely doesn't have a rich daddy to enable his bad habits. But Ewan McGregor as Dan Torrance goes from this rock bottom in life character to wanting to turn it around. And I think that really the catalyst to wanting to turn it around is when he wakes up next to that girl he picked up at the bar, that woman he picked up at the bar. She got too high and puked in her bed with him sleeping next to her. And then, obviously she has that little kid. And you learn later on that, well, after he left, apparently the woman that basically, he was banging in on that night. I mean, she wasn't just sleeping; she was dead, and he didn't know, didn't bother to check, and so they died, including unfortunately the little boy died because he left and no one basically checked on them, and he starved, and she was already dead, and yeah, so you see their ghosts later on in the movie, and so I'm sure that'll steer you, that'll really compel you to like turn your life around and realize, okay, I'm a scumbag, I'm going the wrong direction in life. Okay, I need to go that direction instead. So, but yeah, I thought Ewan McGregor knocked out of the park in this, and I did like how they went back to the Overlook Hotel, but it didn't feel like they just kind of forced it in there as some kind of gimmick. It turned out to be a valuable part of the plot, and it worked as a way to take out Rose the Hat at the end, right? I mean, drawing her in and then unleashing the ghosts of the Overlook Hotel on her. Because Dan was like, okay, well, we have to go and draw her to the Overlook Hotel because that's where the ghosts are at, and that's where we can draw her in so that the ghost can, basically, tackle her, kind of just pig pile right on top of her like they end up doing. Well, you can't do that from some random gas station out in the middle of nowhere or, New England or wherever. He's got to go where the action is, the ghostly action. And so that's why, yeah, they head on out there to the Overlook Hotel. So it's not some contrived, forced, kind of member berries moment with them just going over to the Overlook Hotel just for the hell of it. The closest thing to that is like when Rosa Hat is walking through the Overlook Hotel and she just happens to look over and there's the big blood gushing out of the elevators, and it's like that doesn't really serve any purpose other than the only thing I can think of is that maybe they're trying to show you that she can see things like that, just like Dan can. Something that's the only thing. But all that happens, yeah, she walks by there, the blood gushes out of the elevator, she just kind of smirks at it like, okay, all right, there you go. That is what it is. Okay, all right. All right. Hey, let's break it up again here by me doing you a solid because I want to tell you about this great product, everybody, as I finish up that point there about Ewan McGregor. And this great product I want to tell you about is all about Nature Clear. Yes, Nature Clear Recovery Powder. And what is Nature Clear Recovery Powder, you may ask? Well, it's this powder that you can put into, like, say, 12 ounces of water or your typical bottle of water and just shake it on up and just chug that on down before you go out, having some good times or partying, wherever you're drinking. And you take it before then because you don't want to have to worry about a hangover, okay? And you want to do a preemptive strike on said hangover, okay? You don't want to have to try to deal with it. You just want to outright avoid it altogether. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Yeah. And so handily, the Nature Clear Recovery Powder comes in these handy packets right here. I had to look at it to make sure I wasn't holding it upside down like a doofus. So yeah, it just comes in these handy packets, okay? And you just put it, like I said, in a bottle of water. Just take it before you go out. Now, the great thing about this is if you're out and you're chugging your tequila, you're chugging your mimosas, your Manhattans, whatever, and you're like, oh my God, I forgot to take my Nature Clear. Take it easy on yourself, my man. Calm down. Gather your wits about you. Just take it when you get home. Just take it when you get home, okay? So when you crawl out of that Uber, because no drinking and driving, okay? Crawl out of that Uber and you're crawling across the lawn and the neighbor's looking out at you like, oh my God, look at this van. He's drunk off his ass again. Oh my God, kids, don't look, kids, don't look. Yeah. So when you're crawling across the lawn like that, okay, and you crawl into your house, well, just crawl a little further and get yourself your packet of Nature Clear. Chug that sucker down with some water, preferably. Don't snort it, okay? So don't snort it. I've been reliably assured by my good friend Tony Montana that snorting this, no. It is not as good as Colombian Bam Bam, okay? So don't snort this. Throw in some water and just drink it on down before you go to bed. There you go. You're good to go. Good to go. And so by now, I'm sure you're like, how do I get my hands on this great product there, Van? Well, first off, you're a genius for thinking that. And second of all, you can just go down in the description and click on the Nature Clear link, okay? And go in there and just grab whatever Nature Clear products you want, get it in the cart, and throw that promo code MOVIES into the promo code field, and you're going to get up to 25% off your next order, okay? All right, do it. Get in there, right? All the cool kids are doing it, and then me too. So, yeah. All right, you know what? Let's get to my favorite segment in every Movies Merica spoiler warning episode, and that is the movie military moment, ladies and gentlemen. And so you're probably wondering if you've never watched any Movies Merica spoiler warning episodes ever before, you're probably asking, what the hell is the the movie military moment? There we go. Well, the movie military moment is just my, opportunity, the chance I give myself to honor our military men and women, in particular, the military men and women that have been awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. And so, as you would imagine, in order to be the recipient of a Congressional Medal of Honor, whatever you did, it has to be something amazing, okay? Eye-popping, okay? Just, mind-blowing, something that adjectives that you like in your movie moments, okay? Something where if you saw what they did to be awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor in a movie, you'd be like, whoa, my God, wow, what am I watching? This is amazing, okay? That would be an amazing movie military moment, okay? Hence the name of the segment, the movie military moment. And so this episode's Movies Merica moments, or I screwed it up again. Ah! Movie military moment recipient is one Private First Class Daniel Richmond Edwards, who fought in World War I. And I think Private First Class Edwards deserves his own music, don't you? I think so. Yes, I see you nodding your heads in agreement, and you would be smart to do so. Absolutely. So, all right, let's get this movie military moment music going now. This is the movie military moment. And the recipient of this movie military moment of this episode is one Private First Class Daniel Richmond Edwards, who fought gallantly in World War I. And let's find out a little bit more about Private First Class Edwards. Let's see what he did to be awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. Here we go. Reporting for duty from the hospital where he had been for several weeks under treatment for numerous and serious wounds. And although suffering intense pain from a shattered arm, he crawled alone into an enemy trench with the purpose of capturing or killing enemy soldiers known to be concealed therein. He killed 4 of the men and took the remaining 4 men prisoners while conducting them to the rear. One of the enemy was killed by a high explosive enemy shell, which also completely shattered one of Private First Class Edwards' legs, causing him to be immediately evacuated to the hospital. The bravery of Private First Class Edwards, now a tradition in his battalion because of his previous gallant acts, again caused the morale of his comrades to be raised to high pitch. Yes, high pitch. And that is the actions, the legendary conduct that one Private First Class Daniel Richmond Edwards conducted to be the recipient of a Congressional Medal of Honor, okay? And to be our proud recipient of a movie military moment. So we salute you, Private First Class Edwards, for your service in maintaining our American freedom. You deserve to be honored. You deserve to be recognized. Okay. And that has been our movie military moment. All right. And hey, if anybody out there like knows the family of Private First Class Daniel Richmond Edwards, hey, let him know about this. Okay, I'm sure he's got relatives, descendants of his out there. So I think that they, might be tickled pink to see, their dad or their grandpa, their brother, or whatever, commemorated in this right here. I don't want any of these servicemen and women to ever be forgotten. They deserve at least a few minutes of our time and remembrance. Okay, so all right, and also I'm gonna just take a minute here to let you to tell you all about the Movies Merica Mad Libs as well. And that's also on our tdpn.locals.com website that I kind of touched on a little earlier. And instead of telling you about it here, let me share it with you. All right, let's do this. And because I always think, it's always better to share or show than to tell. Okay. So, and I don't mean that in the dirty sense. Not at all. So, yeah, I know your minds are in the gutter, everybody. Okay. So, so here we have Movies Merica Mad Libs. Okay. And what you're looking at is the tdpn.locals.com website that I told you about a little earlier. Okay. And so, guys, remember Mad Libs when you're a kid? Okay. You used to get like the pamphlets, the Mad Libs pamphlets with all the stories, the paragraphs of stories, okay, and it'd have missing words for you to fill in with dirty, naughty words if you were me, okay, because back then I didn't have the very, very mature, very civilized mentality that I have now, okay. So I didn't have the dignity and decorum that I have now. Okay, I was a right ruffian back then. Okay, and so I would do the I'd get those Mad Lib pamphlets and fill out the stories, with dirty stories, and it's not one of my prouder moments in life. Okay, so I'm glad I'm totally over that. Okay, but you may not be. Okay, so so this is your chance. Movies Merica Mad Libs is your chance to flex your creative muscle, okay? And so basically what it is in a nutshell is I've written a movie script, or I'm in the process of writing a movie script, okay? And it's going to be the hottest movie script being passed around Hollywood that you've ever seen, okay? So look out, Shane Black. Look out, other screenwriters, while your Aaron Sorkins. You guys bow to me as screenwriters, okay? And so what you're looking at here is the beginnings of of a movie script here, okay? And where you come in is you get to write lines in this movie script, okay? And so I've created these three characters for the Movies Merica Mad Libs, because obviously with a movie script you have to have characters, right? And so we have our characters of Holster McHenessy here, and Patsy Penicillin, and Nigel Nightworm. And if you go to tdpn.locals.com, you can read through these characters and who they are, what they do, their backstories, and that kind of thing, because that's going to be kind of important, right, when you're writing your lines, okay? And then here you can see I even have it in the movie script format: fade in, ext for exterior. And our characters in this scene two, because we already did scene one back before, back in May, I believe. Now we're on to scene two. And in scene two, our intrepid characters, that means brave for all you public school students, are outside of Mar-a-Lago, or outside the Mar-a-Lago main gate, to be more specific, okay? And what are they doing? Well, you'll have to read my first few lines to find out what these characters are doing, just standing outside the Mar-a-Lago main gate, okay? And then the last line that I've written here is from Patsy, where she says,
"This is so exciting. It's not every day you might get to meet."
And then that's where you put where they're, who they're meeting there, okay? And then you can write all kinds of more lines in the script, okay? But all I ask is just write one line per character, please, okay? You can write as many lines as you want, but just keep it where you're writing a line per character, okay? Because these three characters are talking to each other, okay? So you have to write a line for each of them, all right? And so where do you put your lines? Well, you just got to come down here to this comments button here. Okay. Click on that. And that'll take you to this page and come on down to the comments. And yeah, here's where you can start writing your lines. Okay. So that first line was Patsy. Okay. And she was saying she was so excited to, meet whoever. So if you want to, put in there, the person that they're meeting is Donald Trump, you just put Donald Trump. Okay. So I'm so excited to meet Donald Trump.
Yes, yes. So excited. Yes. I know Patsy. I know her very well. I know her whole family. They're great people. Great, great people. Tremendous, tremendous. They're so great. It's going to make your head spin. Yes.
I'm so excited to meet Donald Trump. Okay. Then you go to the next line, and it's a holster with his line. And I meant to put Patsy in all caps up there. And yeah, then you just put in your, nice to meet you, President Trump. And then you'll write a line down below for Nigel, and you just keep on going. Write as many lines as you want. And if you run out of room here, you can just create another comment down here and just keep on writing, okay? And then what happens is myself and then Ian and Sean, who are also in the Till Death Podcast Network, we're going to do a live read for your lines, okay? And we have to read whatever you write, okay? So do your worst, go nuts, go crazy, okay? Now how it's going to work is we're gonna read your lines, and then we're gonna see like who wrote the best lines and pick the best one, right? Okay. And then again, yeah, we're going to do that live read on this show, Movies Merica spoiler warning, here in the future. And you'll just get to sit back and laugh your ass off as we are tortured by your words, okay? Because we have to read out loud whatever you write, okay? And we have to act out whatever you write, okay? So, and as you saw, one of the characters is a woman, Patsy Penicillin. So one of us is going to have to really harness our feminine side, okay? So in a not so dignified way, okay? So not at all. So it's not gonna be our prouder moments, but yeah, you get to have a lot of fun with us here, okay? So that's Movies Merica Mad Libs, everybody. Get in there right now. And again, you can't contribute to it unless you're a premium member, okay? Unless you're a paying member. But again, like I said before, if you put in promo code TDPN when you go to tdpn.locals.com, put in that TDPN promo code, and you get 1 month free. Plenty of time to write some lines in there, okay, everybody? All right. Moving on. Okay. So, yeah, back to Dr. Sleep. I would give it my highest recommendation. Go check it out. It's a worthy follow-up to The Shining. And again, don't think you're going to be seeing The Shining. Okay, it's not trying to be The Shining. It's something completely different as far as like just the aesthetics, the look of it. Okay, and the pacing and all that stuff. And it doesn't have like one thing that The Shining has that makes it better than Dr. Sleep is that The Shining just has that overall creepy music to it. And but Dr. Sleep has creepy things about it as well. And Dr. Sleep just has what I mean, I guess I can't really remember seeing a segment like this in another movie. I may have, maybe Dreamscape or maybe Inception, some movie like that. But it has like the best use of visual effects to illustrate someone traveling in their mind to another place and to confront another person and that kind of thing. And just that scene where Rose the Hat is, I don't know what I guess would you call it, meditating, I guess, I don't know, and it flying through the skies and flying down through the clouds, down into the neighborhood of Abra. Abra is the little girl that is working with her, that that Dan is working with, I guess, is a lame way of putting it, that he develops an affection and connection with. So Rosa Hat is traveling in her mind to try to do psychic battle with Abra, and Rosa Hat finds out the hard way Abra is no one to jack with, okay? Not at all. And so I thought that whole scene where she's flying, down from space through the clouds, I thought that was really creepy, but really well done. It had some really good music. And that's one thing I like about this movie, like just that constant heartbeat, that you just continually hear throughout the movie. I think that's really kind of cool. It makes it even creepier. Yes. Okay. All right. So you know what? We're going to wrap it up here for this episode because it's more fun when I'm doing this show live. Okay. And this is just a recording of it, but I still hope that you do enjoy this recorded episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. And you're, getting a little taste of my thoughts about Dr. Sleep. But again, since you can't live chat with me on this episode, go ahead and just take advantage of those comments down below, okay? And get to me there. And I always try to do my best to respond to all the comments, okay? Because I comment on other people's episodes, and I really appreciate it when they get back to me. So I don't want to be that guy that expects a response or really appreciates a response to my comments, but never responds back to the comments that I get. Like I'm not trying to be that kind of dick. Not at all. Okay. So as I wrap it up here, let me just kind of turn your gaze to a few things here. Some locations you should definitely go to. First of which is www. Let me say that again. Let me start over. www.moviesmerica.com. So the reason you would go there is if you just want to see audio versions of my spoiler-free reviews that come out on Sunday, okay? Now, I don't know why you'd want to see an audio only or hear an audio only version when you could watch me and my ruggedly handsome good looks, okay, with that, that totally doesn't have a triple chin at all, so... my Ryan Gosling like looks, okay? But if you just can't handle the hotness, okay, then yeah, you can go to www.moviesmerica.com and check out the audio only versions, or you can listen to the audio only versions on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, basically anywhere you would imagine has podcasts there. And if you're listening to me out on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, go ahead and follow me out there. There's always a follow and subscribe options out there. And then give me a 5-star rating there if you so desire. Okay, definitely would appreciate that. It would touch me right there, everybody. Touch me right there. Okay, I do not have a heart of stone, okay? All right, and then moving on, I am also on X, formerly Twitter, or the artist formerly known as Twitter. I'm on X, no, not the drug, just on the social media site. And then I'm also on Instagram, okay? And that's I'm under @MoviesMerica. That's my handle, okay? On X and Instagram. And then I'm also on Gab, everybody. Check me out on Gab under @MoviesMerica as well. And Gab is a up-and-coming site that you should definitely check out. And there's some great people to follow. Let me give a shout-out to my good buddy out on Gab, Unfolding Joker, okay? Go check him out. And Dear Sarge and Mrs. Sarge, okay? They're great out there. Darth Jason out on Gab, so definitely check them out. Give them a follow, man. So yeah, do right by them, okay? And you'll like what they put out there for content, okay? All right, and then tdpn.locals.com. Again, I already mentioned that, so I'm pretty much going to skip right over that. And then also check out our merch down below in the description. We got our merch link down there, and you can check out some great Till Death Podcast Network merch, which includes, of course, Movies Merica merch. Okay, you can get Movies Merica, phone case, Movies Merica yoga pants, Movies Merica peanut brittle, maybe not Movies Merica peanut brittle, not yet. Okay, but I'm still on my grandma's ass to make up some Movies Merica peanut brittle for all the good boys and girls out there, but it's not out there. But you can get all kinds of other great Movies Merica merch out there at the merch store. Again, it's at the merch store link down in the description. Everybody, yes. And then we've got at Till Death Network, solo.to/Till Death Pod Network. And why would you want to go there? Well, that is the home of all the links to get you to all kinds of places that have to do with the Till Death Podcast Network, okay? So if you don't want to have to Google or whatever, go DuckGo or whatever, search all over the interwebs for anything Till Death Podcast Network related. If you don't want to have to do that and you want to go to a one-stop shop where all the Till Death Podcast Network links are at, well, that's where you go to at Till Death Network, solo.to/Till Death Pod Network. Trying to make life easy on you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Absolutely. And moving on, we have solo.to/Till Death Studios. And that's where you can go to have my man Ian hook you up with his creative skills, his fantastic design skills. If you're like a content creator like myself and him and Sean, and you want to add some flair to your content, so you can get cool stuff from Ian. He can create for you, like the intros that you saw at the beginning of the show. The intros there, you see the overlay up at the very top. It says moviesmerica.com and all that stuff there. The cool background, the Movies Merica background behind me here. All kinds of great stuff. If you want some cool stuff like that for your content, yeah, get to solo.to/Till Death Studios and make Ian's genius work for you. All right. And let me tell you all about also solo.to/I'm Sean Cav. And that's where you can find all the links that have to do with one Sean Cav here on the Till Death Podcast Network. Okay, so he's got his show Sipping with Sean that comes out every other Friday afternoon, and he's got other things that he does to contribute to the efforts. And to get links to those efforts, you just have to go to solo.to/I'm Sean Cav, and I'm sure you're going to see some music related stuff out there from Sean because he's a fantastic bass player. And so yeah, check that out, solo.to/I'm Sean Cav. All right, and moving on, solo.to/The Whiskey Capitalist. And that's where you can go for the links that have to do with that crazy, wacky show, the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast, that you see every Monday and Wednesday nights at 7 my time. So I guess it'll be 8 Eastern. And just that's where all the links are that have to do with the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast. So probably a good place to go if you really want to watch that show and you want a nice handy link to use to join the show and live chat and hang with the fellers. Okay, the fellers being Ian and Sean on the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast. And last but certainly not least, solo.to/Till Death Podcast. And that's where you go to find all the links that have to do with the Till Death Podcast that Ian and his lovely wife Jen do every other Saturday afternoon for you. And they provide you the fun magical marriage, wedding, married couple perspective about this and that, funnies and politics and hot button topics and all that stuff, entertainment. I'm sure they dabble in some movies as well. But yeah, it's just Ian and Jen. They're just sitting there chilling out in their casa, just entertaining you, okay? And become part of the Till Death Podcast family, just like becoming part of the Movies Merica family, okay? So check that out, okay? And again, part about about being part of the Movies Merica family. Go ahead and let people know about this show, okay? And you can send them the links to this show. Probably the easiest way is like just to go on X and look me up under @Movies Merica, and just like copy the link from there and just throw it in a text message to old Uncle Frank or Aunt Sue or Grandpa Harold or whoever that you likes movies, okay? And send that to them, or instant message them, whatever, okay? Email them, whatever, okay? That you want, okay? That would be fantastic, everybody. All right, so we're gonna wrap up this Dr. Sleep episode of Movies Merica, spoiler warning. But yeah, for everyone watching, no matter when you're watching this recorded episode, if you're watching it this year or maybe you're watching it in the year 2048. Hey, future people. Hey there, how you doing? All right, I'm probably dead by now, but I appreciate you watching nonetheless. Okay, so and on that happy note, hey, as I always say, people, get out there. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya.
Hey, everybody, don't leave yet. Okay? Hey, I got just enough time. I got the police after me, okay? And, oh man, they're gonna get me at any time. I got just enough time to ask you to like this video and also subscribe to this channel if you would, man. You'd be doing me a big favor, okay? And please make sure to like these videos or watch them and then like them, okay? That'd be great. And again, thanks for watching, okay? And subscribe to the Till Death Podcast Network and Movies Merica. I gotta go.